Jenn Mason is here, and she has a fantastic idea for using some stuff you have in your stash already, I'm sure, and making it into something totally different. You have the magic transformation, right? What is it that we're making today?
I do. We are going to make fabric tape, which
is what you have spooled here so lovingly. And fabric tape, is it just what it sounds like?
It is just what it sounds like. And the interesting thing is that I don't know why I didn't think of this before. But I do some crafting with fabric, and I had these great fabric strips and leftovers, and I thought, I'm going to try to work these into more of my paper craft. So I came up with the idea of the fabric tape, and I wanted to create like a whole piece of tape and not just glue a little piece at a time, so that I had something to use like I do my washi tape. So
well, I often find also when I'm creatively blocked and I can't like make a page or a card, making supplies for myself to use later is a great use of my crafty time, and I feel like I've done something, but I didn't actually have to do any like thinking.
Yeah. And you know, there's so many beautiful fabrics out there, so there's like more beauty you can bring into your studio.
But you did say some fabrics work and some fabrics don't.
Yes. So you don't want to use something, because you're going to be cutting small, like half-inch strips. You don't want to use something that's got a large pattern. And actually, these aren't even large. I would call this a medium pattern, because you're going to cut them apart, and you wouldn't notice anymore that these were trailers and cars, or you'd end up with like a roll of owl eyeballs.
You might want owl eyeball tape, though. That might be fun.
Well, if you do, then you want to go for that. But I like to go for something that's more of an all-over pattern, so that when you cut up just a little strip of it, it still is really interesting. Even using this faux bois, fake wood pattern, when I cut it, you get a really neat little striped effect. So there's two ways you can do this. Okay, so over here we have, on this one spool, we have more of a straight edge fabric tape. I do like, it does get the little pieces of thread that stick out, and I kind of like that textural.
Let you know that it's fabric.
And homemade.
Yes.
And then you can do this other one, which is more of a frayed edge.
That's really cool, too.
Yeah. So I'm going to show you how to do the straight edge one, but first I wanted to give you a tip on how to do the frayed edge.
Okay.
And the idea here is that fabric is all woven, right? It's woven on a machine, it's very straight. It doesn't necessarily match up to the pattern. So to get a nice straight piece of tape, what you want to do is cut, or use your little safety
You're on
cutter.
a rotary trimmer
trimmer, but I could use scissors just as well.
Okay.
And you just want to get it started, and then you're going to tear it. And I want to show you, when you tear
you get that
this,
raggy edge.
you'll get the raggy edge, and you'll also find that even though it looked like a straight piece of fabric, so let me get to the end of this. I love it. It's very therapeutic. You'll see that it's not necessarily, I started at one end here,
and I can see the
very
other
narrow.
end. So what you're saying is the fabric will always tear actually on the straight,
right?
Even if it wasn't originally cut on the straight.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, so sometimes it's nice to start with a slightly larger piece of fabric in case your grain is really off from
You know what, I'm
printing.
noticing that the edge of this fabric was cut with some pinking shears, which is what you see that nice little pattern there, and you could totally do pinking shear edge tape.
And
that
they
would
make
be
pinking
cool.
shear rotary cutters too,
that's a
and
great
different
idea.
shapes. Yeah.
Okay, so
lots of fun
let's
things.
make some tape.
All right, let's do it. Okay, so to do your straight edge pieces, you're going to choose your pattern. Now, I do, because we're going to cut this with a straight edge, I'm not worried about the grain. I want a straight piece of cut fabric. And I'm using a metal edge ruler. Very important when you're using a rotary to use either a sewing ruler or a metal edge ruler, so you do not chop off your fingers, because...
Or cut through the ruler. I mean, plastic and wood rulers, you tend to cut into it, and it's not straight anymore.
9 out of 10 doctors say you should keep your fingers attached. I don't know about the other one. So I'm just going to line this up, and I'm going to give myself a starting edge. If you have a safety on your rotary, don't give up on that, and make sure you
Safety first, and you're keeping your fingers very out of the way. You're working on a self-healing mat. Don't want to cut through your table. Okay, so you've done one edge.
And then you just need to decide what size width you want. I like to do it slightly larger than whatever my tape is going to be, so you can take your tape. I'm going to use this red tape here, and I'm going to decide, okay, that's the minimum it can be.
This is my kind of measuring, by the way. I love it where you just kind of approximate
eyeball
there.
Here, eyeball here, and that's enough for
Good
this.
enough.
Yeah. Take your safety off.
And you now have several layers of fabric folded over that you're able to cut all at once, which makes it really easy and fast. You don't even need a huge long quilting ruler. You just have a regular ruler.
Fabric can be really slippery, so if I had this, even if I had a great big cutting mat right here, and I had a great big ruler that would cut the whole thing, it slips too much. I actually really like being able to get it all in one spot, hold it tight, and then we have our piece. So all we need to do now is, and this is great to do while you're like sitting in front of TV or watching Scrapbook Soup, is you're just going to take this and put your adhesive down And you're going to do it all the way down the whole strip, which is like watching paint dry. But when you're all done with that, and I'm just going to cut off this little piece to just be able to show you a small part. If you want to put it on a spool like we've done here, or you could do it on like an old paper towel tube.
Oh, yeah.
Or just a scrap of cardboard, because if you're going to go through all this trouble, it's nice to keep it and make yourself a whole collection of these. So to do that, you just want to pull back the edge of your tape, which is being very sticky, because what you want is that little starting point that's going to hold it on your spool. And you're going to take off the back.
I know you can use this kind of tape that has a sticky. You could also use like a paperback tape like this one.
Yes.
You could use a removable tape so that it's removable. You can really customize it to be exactly what you want it to be.
Exactly. And you want something with the eyelet. Well, you don't have to. You can do whatever you want. But I like to use one that has that paperback edge so that I can do
save
this.
it for later.
Yeah. If you were using a removable one that would re-stick, you'd be okay with that as well. And then you just do the same thing on
you're just
your end.
adhering one end to the spool, and you would hear the other end, and that's how it stays nicely on there. And I know you brought all these cute tags with you, which are so cute. You used some stencils, right, and spray ink, and then you also mixed up your washi tape with your fabric tape. And then you told me that we can make a book out of this in no time at all. So I'm supposed to collect these tags, which I'm going to do right now, right here. And we even have one there if we want to make something more. And I see you've done some journaling, gotten it started. And you said, how are we binding this together again?
Super simple.
A big pen.
You can also use this binder ring, which is just as easy. And there's some really cool, colorful ones.
So you just slip it through the top. And I know you told me to bring a photo of me and a friend, which I did.
Excellent.
And you said along with the journaling or anything else, you just put your photo on there. And of course, I don't want to cover up your journaling, but
put it on the next page.
Put it on the next page, and you can see how that fabric tape adds that little bit of texture, that little bit of dimension. Super easy to do. Great gift to give to a friend. And you know what? I'm taking these home with me, so don't even try.
They're all yours.
Thank you.